Ever since a baby, I've been trying to get away, trying to lock in the guap, trying to block with the pain. I'm a blind little boss, I'm on top of the game. I've been plotting a lot, now I'm tossing your bait. Yeah, my pops got caught, didn't lock them away. My mom fought hard, 5 jobs in a day. I'll be dropping the vibes, and I'm copping the pain. We off to the stars to a tropical place. Ooh, yeah, I'm spitting it heavy, the mission is steady. Your bitches are jelly, I'm ditching the petty. You're digging for pennies, I'm itching and ready. I open my heart when I listen to Shetty. I'm bold like a boss, but I'm little like Debbie. I know what your bros, I got richer than Getty. I'm holding the guap and I'm whipping the Yeti, yeah, Kari can play with advanced moves. I'm fucking my girl and her man too. I'm sick in the ball like the Randu. My soul is the one that I can't lose. I soak up the sun like a sand dune. I'm holding up love with the bamboo. I'm rolling the blunt by the candle. Taking the game, running it back without taking a drink. Yeah, I'm the one and I'm making a wave. Rolling the blunt and I'm blazing a J. I'm escaping the brain, go straight for the cake. I'ma take to the bank, now taking a break. I'm made for the race, I pray for the day. I wake with a bake in the greatest state.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay, that's Maddie, and we are here with week 2 of the NFL season.
Yeah, week 2 of the NFL season is about to start in about 2 hours time. So come with us as we review Thursday's game with the Washington Commanders against the Packers, where the Packers look like the real deal. But we'll every single team's games this week with the betting lines, and we'll pick against the spread for you to come with us on that as well. And then we might finish off with some fantasy football players to watch. Just one fantasy football player to watch for this week, Jay.
So Maddie is in witness protection.
You want to get straight into the game that's just down the road from you in Green Bay.
Well, you're in witness protection right now, so we're going to figure this out as we go since they got you hidden in an undisclosed location.
I'm currently hidden in a forest somewhere in Yorkshire that no one is obviously allowed to know about the whereabouts.
Nottingham.
I'm clearly hiding from something.
In Nottingham.
It's in Yorkshire, not Nottingham. But we're currently in a forest.
You're Robin Hood in
that's
this
why my
story.
Wi-Fi's a bit spotty.
You're Robin Hood in this story. Quit fighting it.
I love that you say forest to an American and the first thing that they come back with is Nottingham. And also not Nottingham, but Nottingham, which is horrific, but, we move on. Jay, should we have a little reaction to the Green Bay Packers going up against the Washington Commanders? And look, the Packers put the beat down on them in that game.
Yeah, the Packers looked good in that game, but I walked away wondering what's going on in fucking Washington.
Yeah, I was watching the game and I was thinking, is Jaden Daniels going to have a regression this season? Is he going to have that sophomore slump that we see a lot of the time, especially from star rookies? You see it, right? In week 1, he missed a couple of throws as well, a couple of big-time throws. He misses a huge big-time throw to Terry McLaurin on the sideline as well. He misses that by quite some distance. And then in this week, his accuracy was a little bit off. His running was a little bit off. He was going up against a great Green Bay Packers team. So Jaden Daniels might be having that sophomore slump. Also, Marshon Lattimore, his first three downs of this week were completion against him for 10 yards, completion against him for 13 yards, and then a holding penalty. And he didn't improve from that point, really.
Yeah, the Commanders struggled at times on offense and defense, but with Green Bay, I thought they looked good, and I think they're one of the top teams in the NFL. But I also do question what happens when they play an elite defense or they're not at home. And I know these are just early week questions. This isn't me just trying to be fucking hater or whatever. We're early in the season, and I got questions of where are we going to be in week 5? Like, are they for real? Are they one of the top teams? But I mean, we went through this last year with the Eagles, right? We're like, what are they truly? We got to ride the wave. I know everybody's talking about the Packers passing game, which I think they did fine. I'm more impressed with their running game.
Yeah, I think definitely their run game is something to be scared of, and especially with the way that they're able to play on the other side of the ball, right? Like when you have a defense that's as stacked as theirs, especially in terms of like the pass defense when you've got like Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, um, um, nose tackle, forgotten his name, but anyway, and you have the young nose tackle that has played every down so far of week 1 and week 2. That defensive line is scary, especially on passing down. So if you can run the ball and you can get ahead and you can make the other team feel like they need to pass it because you're just able to control the game entirely with the run game, then they can really make a go of that. And Josh Jacobs looks like he's going to be, if he's fit for the whole season, which he very rarely is, but if he's fit for the whole season, the Packers are going to be dangerous on the run game as well. But Jay, is Jordan Love the real deal for you? Like at quarterback, is he looking like the real deal, or has he gone up against 2 questionable secondaries?
I think he's what I was talking about last week. He's right in the middle, right? Like I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think he's great, and that's not a shot at him because, I mean, there's only a handful of great ones at one time, right? Like it's if it wasn't rare, then we wouldn't talk about it. But I think he's in that category of where at least a couple years ago when we were talking Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, right? Like I would say he's above Lawrence, that tier probably right now, but he's not Josh Allen, Lamar, and he's athletic, but he's not super athletic, right? He's in the middle of everything. Like he's not Caleb Williams or Lamar athletic, but he's more athletic than most of the people in most quarterbacks in the NFL. Or his arm strength or talent isn't as great as Josh Allen, but he's more around a Dak Prescott. So I don't know. It's not to shit on him, but I think he's just really good, serviceable quarterback who at moments could do great things, but is not always going to carry your team.
With Jordan Love's athleticism, I think it's more linked to the idea of mobility rather than being incredibly athletic. So you see once Justin Fields breaks a pocket, once Lamar Jackson breaks a pocket, they're able to take it to the house there and they're able to make those plays outside. Jordan Love is mobile inside the pocket in a way that's how he diced up the Dallas Cowboys in the playoff game last year, 2 years ago, where those 2 years ago, where those throws off the back foot and that pocket mobility and being able to like position yourself in a way to get the ball away when you're getting closed down by the defense, it's a huge deal. And he's been very impressive for the first 2 weeks. But again, something that we harp on in this show is the consistency of Jordan Love. So let's see how consistent he will remain to be throughout the season. Jay, in terms of like consistency as well, like that's the big word with the Washington Commanders when you've got Jaden Daniels there. How do you feel about the Washington Commanders looking forward this season after their solid week getting the beatdown put on them by the Green Bay Packers?
Well, the whole right side of the line looks awful. So I don't know, but there's no way to. Yeah. That's the thing. That is one position that you cannot just fix by bringing people in off the street or off of people's practice squad because there's not enough linemen, right? So unless you're going to make some kind of trade, and that's still going to take some weeks for them to get used to if they come in, you just got to get better. I don't know if it's scheme or what they do on the offensive line, but that just needs to get better. And then because of the offensive line, now your run game does not look as good as it should. And a team like Washington needs to establish the run because you still, as good as Jaden Daniels is he's still only a second-year quarterback, and you need to do something to make his life easier also. So if they can't establish the run in almost a heavy way too, I don't know what they're going to do, but with that offensive line, how do you establish the run?
And now Austin Eckler is out as well, who's there running back as well. He looks like he's out for the season, right, after that injury. I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
I don't know. It didn't look good going off the field.
Yeah, it didn't look good. It's quite a few games that he's injured for now, but Eckler, he's there passing down back as well, right? So not only are you now going to struggle to run the ball in terms of like the traditional run game, you're also struggling to like those extension of the run game plays that we call them, those short passing extension of the run game plays. Austin Eckler is totally removed from that aspect as well. It could be an opening for them though with their rookie. Just a reminder, guys, I have nothing at the fingertips here because going on my phone and I have no connection to my laptop. So when I'm forgetting players' names, they're usually names that I'd have up ready to go. But the rookie running back for the Commanders as well, who there's been a lot of chat about. This could be an opportunity for him to get more touches on the ball because he has looked good when he's been in. And the thing is, with a guy like Jaden Daniels at quarterback as well, he's so good that they could have a roster where it's like just outside the top 10 in the league, and he still might be able to take them there. But as you say, with the right side of the line, that's not looking great. Laramie Tunsil coming in, a left tackle, has looked great for them. But did their right side of the line look horrendous because they were going up against the Green Bay Packers, who now have one of the best defensive lines in the league? Early season questions, we'll see. Jay, let's move on to our week 2 every single team spread bets that we go for. And I believe first up is the Dallas Cowboys going up against the New York Giants. The spread is 4.5, as I remember, Jay.
That is correct.
Okay, yeah.
So
I think the big questions here for this game are: can the Dallas Cowboys establish their run game that they were talking about, that they managed to do? They managed to establish that run game against the Eagles, and it looked good. Is that for real, or was that Jalen Carter being out? And also on the New York Giants side of the ball, can they make the most of the the Cowboys beat up secondary? Deron Bland is out again, foot injury. He's out for at least this week. So that's Kaiir Elam stepping up to the second best cornerback on the team. Can the Cowboys get over that, and can the Giants make the most of it? Jay, what have you got?
I think the Cowboys will be fine this week, and I think the only way you guys struggle is if Daboll gets his head out of his ass and benches Russell Wilson for Jackson Dart. But as long as Russell Wilson's in there, I think you guys will be fine. And I'm not even being funny. Like, Russell Wilson over the last 5 years has not been good. And you know me, I'm a Badger fan. I'll try to ride to the end of the earth with a Badger. But the truth is ever since Russell Wilson hasn't had the Legion of Boom, he had a couple good years without him in Seattle still, but it's been downward trajectory since he hasn't been with the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's something to be said about having Marshawn Lynch and fucking Earl Thomas and Cam Robinson, and you know what I mean? Like, there's something to having that defense in a running game that makes you look a whole lot better. And now he's in New York, which New York has been just a shit show of a franchise for a decade or more.
Yeah, since winning Super Bowls, right? Like it's a crazy
and
downturn.
Even then, that's the most giant shit, though, Maddie. That's the most giant shit. Even when they won Super Bowls, they were a shit show, and they barely made the playoffs both times. Like, right? They just got hot and made a run, and nothing to take away from their Super Bowls. But, I mean, maybe it's 20 years since we were like, 30 years where we were like, fuck, the Giants
that's a
are
well-run
real
organization.
Yeah, like, I'm thinking back to Phil Simms and shit. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to think like they won 2 Super Bowls while being a fucking complete wreck. That's like the friends you know whose life is a complete wreck, but somehow they just keep their job, like, and they do it well. Yeah.
And with Russell Wilson there, I tend to agree with you. Russell Wilson is an interesting one, especially from that season in Pittsburgh, where there were times where he looked good, like when he's throwing that like in strange moonball deep throw delivery that he's got to George Pickens. Like, he looks great. And with Malik Neighbors there in New York, very similar wide receiver style to George Pickens, so we could see some of that. Like, I think Russell Wilson throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors, going up, if they can get him one-on-one against Kaiir Elam, or trying to double move and pick on Trayvon Diggs' propensity to jump, to try and jump those routes. then I can see that happening, the deep ball. And then also our run defense was good against the Eagles, considering Saquon Barkley is in the backfield there. I think he only averaged just over 3 yards a carry. But is that week one? And will the Cowboys be able to do that again now that they've got the new D tackle in place? Who knows? Whether they'll be able to keep Tyron Tracy. I'm actually playing against Tyron Tracy in fantasy, so I fucking hope so. I don't see them benching Russell Wilson for Jackson Dart yet, but I'm surprised with the preseason that Jackson Dart had. I'm surprised that they didn't go Jackson Dart to start off with.
It's the only reason I think they haven't. It's the only move you have as a coaching staff to try to save your job in a terrible season. So you're going to have to go like, this is the move they make week 6, week 7 before they get fired halfway through the season. I maybe I'm wrong. Maybe coaches don't think like that. But from my end, I'm looking at it like this is the only move you have to get better if shit goes wrong. And if you make it too soon and it backfires, then you're probably out of there mid-season, end of the season. So when it comes to, I think you guys. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Jay. I do think that the run game aspect was for real. I think this young interior offensive line, Tyler Smith, just getting an extension as well, $98 million extension. He's gone for, the deals since the Micah Parsons trade have made it look like the Micah Parsons trade is even less and less about money. Going forward with the Duran Bland extension and the Tyler Smith extension getting done. Or is it because of the money that they saved with Micah Parsons? But anyway, with Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Brooker, who was always a run grade at Alabama, that looks like a good run interior offensive line. So I feel like they will be able to get behind that. And I think the 4.5 points give me the Dallas Cowboys.
And I will say, I think your run defense will be fine. I think Kenny Clark's just going to get better on that side of the ball. I'm not sure the Giants have enough weapons to you to worry about your secondary this week, right? As long as you get Bland back. I think defense, and I know everybody's saying because of Micah, defense is going to be your problem. It's not. It's not going to be your problem this year. You'll be serviceable. I don't know where you'll land, but you're not going to be on the bottom and you're not going to be on the top, right? So you're going to be somewhere between 5 and 25 for defense, and and it's what can that offense do? What can Dak Prescott do? What can the guys you are paying do? And I know I seen you put right here like in the notes because you don't have them, so I'll have to run through it. But did Jerry get fleeced? Or did the Cowboys get
the Micah Parsons?
I don't think so.
And
I think because of the way they draft, and granted, we're ways out from there, I think we very well could look at this and go, okay, it helped the Packers, but Jerry did this. And if Jerry makes smart moves from here moving forward with the cap, as a Cowboys fan, you can't be mad at him. As soon as he turns around and does the same dumb shit again that he did with CD and Dak, now you can be extremely pissed at him. But Mike is gone, so that's different. He was all right, we have a bad cap. We got rid of one guy we can't afford. Maybe that was the move. I don't know. But it does seem to me like he was not loved in that locker room, and Jerry loves his players. So, not by the teammates. Not by the teammates. I mean, he was not loved by the front office. I misspoke on that.
And if Overshown comes back this season and remains healthy, then I think we'll be fine.
And he's Michael Light.
Yeah, exactly. That's 10 minutes on the Dallas Cowboys game, Jay. Should we make our pick and move on to the next one?
We should, but we're just following major networks. If you talk about the Cowboys, people come, right? Like it's if you talk about them, they will come. Okay. So we're moving on to the Steelers versus the Seahawks.
Jay, your pick. Who've you got?
Oh, I gave it right off the bat. You just missed me. I went with the Cowboys minus the 4. I said that right to start. I was like, give me the Cowboys minus the 4.
So ready right off the bat. Okay, who have we got next?
We got Steelers minus 3.5 versus the Seahawks. Is the Steelers' poor defense performance a blip or a trend?
Yeah, and this is after this is one of my best bets of the week, by the way, Steelers -3.5. But I think the one question you have to ask is they were really bad against the New York Jets, and the New York Jets are not a good football team, and they were really bad. And Seattle are probably a little better than the Jets on the offensive side of the ball in terms of in terms of weapons and scheme and quarterback and those kind of things. So is it a blip, or do you think they're just going to get straight back on it after 1 week off? You know, like it's an experienced defense.
Yeah, I do think that they'll get it together, and I think some of it has to do with you got 2 new corners, right? You got a new defense that's trying to gel together. We saw at the end of the game, and I don't think he can do it for 60 minutes necessarily with age, but Jalen Ramsey still has moments where he's going to be Jalen Ramsey. Like there was times in that game where he made huge fucking plays for that defense. And I give him credit because Jalen Ramsey is a guy who is run by emotion. Like we've watched him. Emotion gets him sometimes. And he has this habit of ripping his helmet off and getting penalties on good and bad plays. And you see him when he made 2 good plays. He grabs the helmet, lifts it, pulls it back down. Lifts it, pulls it back down. So I give him credit. He didn't just rip that thing off because he respects Tomlin and the team. And I think that this is one of those teams at the end of the year we're going to go, well, that didn't work out the way we thought it would, or that was something special. I don't know if they win a Super Bowl, but I think it's one of 2 things. We could walk away and go, that was a special season for them.
I feel like with Aaron Rodgers in place, they're much closer to actually doing what we've wanted them to do for a while, which is risk it to go better than give up maybe going 9-8 or 10-7. Like give that up. Give up the certainty of doing that to maybe you can make a run for the Super Bowl. And I think with Aaron Rodgers there, he looked good. And I think we were being I think the NFL was thinking Aaron Rodgers off the Achilles. He's a year removed from the Achilles, and he looked way better last week. DK Metcalf is a perfect Aaron Rodgers wide receiver, like Devontae Adams kind of style, stylistically, and their run game is excellent as well.
For a minute, I thought I was the only person in the world, and I'm a Vikings fan, who was defending Aaron Rodgers coming off that Achilles. I swear at the end of the year, I felt like I was the only guy who was like, no, I don't think it's as bad as everybody thinks, but we'll see. He still has a chance to make me look like an idiot, so who knows?
And he was at the Jets, most importantly.
Yeah.
Like, the other part of that was he was at the Jets, which the Jets have maybe taken a step up. With Aaron Rodgers not there, who knows? I know what's more likely, that Aaron Rodgers has taken a step up and the Jets were lucky in week 1. That's what is more likely to me.
And it also could be Aaron Glenn's just a better coach than what they had going on there if they step it up, right? Like, because Robert Saleh, great defensive coordinator, not sure that the locker room loved him at the end of that run.
Yeah. And what do we make of the Seahawks in this one, Jay? What do we actually expect from the Seahawks this year? Like, what is the question for the Seattle Seahawks?
That's the question. Like, because I'm not sure. I know you were a little higher on them than me in the offseason. Like, I'm not sure. I know it's going to sound like I'm a hater, but there's no reason for me to hate. I'm not sure Sam Darnold can play the way he did last year with Kevin O'Connell. And so people are going to be like, oh, it's just some Vikings hate. But people remember, I wanted them to move on from Sam. Nothing against it. I think Sam Darnold to be better than he was at the Jets, but I don't think he can be as good as he was at the Vikings. So maybe he's like the quarterback that first got to Carolina. You remember like that 4-game stretch where he played really solid?
Yeah.
But
he was just solid.
It looks like Cooper Kupp, and I'm sure it's coming off an injury, but it looks like he lost 3 steps right now, and I'm sure that'll come back, or some of it at least. But he didn't look like the same Cooper Kupp in the even in the preseason when you're watching what goes on.
Cooper Kupp needs to be running high possession tight end routes. Like that's what he needs to be running. Like not even in a shitty way, just in he's such a solid route runner and his hands are so solid. Just get him in those possession spots. He's big enough body to be able to make those plays as well. And then you've got Jackson Smith and Jigba on the outside, who's excellent as well. So I like the Seahawks, but I don't think they're going to be doing much better than going evens. Like they're close to 8-9, 9-8. Like I think they're around there, and I think that's what to expect for them. It feels like a reset year rather than a rebuild year. I don't think they're going full rebuild because the moves that they've made, they're not rebuild moves. But I think it's a reset year and then go again in the next year. Jay, the spread is -3 on this one. It's already one of my best picks from on Thursday for the Steelers at -3. So
3.5.
Oh, it's 3.5. Sorry, I'll still take the 3.5. My bad. It was at 3 when I best bet it, but yeah.
Okay, well, yes, it's 3.5. I will take the Steelers and the 3.5 also. So we're both looking at the week the same. I don't know if that's good or bad so far. Moving on to the third game of the week, though, we got the Titans versus the Rams at -5.5. Do the Rams have enough firepower to beat the spread?
Yeah, for me, 5.5 after the game last week, where it was a low-scoring affair for the Rams last week. I just wonder if they have the firepower for 5.5. But Jay, when you look at their side of the ball, Kyron Williams is a touchdown machine. You've got Devontae Adams on that side of the ball now. Puka Nacua is healthy, so that's good as well. Tutu Atwell, I believe, is still there. Like Matthew Stafford is healthy. Like I think the Rams should have enough firepower, and it was rustiness going on last week after the Stafford injury throughout most of the season.
No, I agree with you. I will say the Titans, after I went back and because I was flipping back and forth through games, so I went back and watched part of the game of the Titans. The receivers did nothing to help their rookie quarterback. They dropped like 8 fucking balls. It was wild. So he did look better, but it's still the Titans. It's still, I don't think they have enough firepower. I think they have people who are names on their team that are no longer, I don't know what Calvin Ridley, what is he? Tony Pollard's a name. I don't know.
I don't know what Tony Pollard can do as your number one running back. I don't think he's ever been there. Or like Tajay Spears and is just Tony Pollard light as well. Like they've got
and he's out for the first 4 weeks. So he's on my bench hiding in case I need a running back. He's on IR.
He's a nice hide. He's a nice hide for later on. Same with like Jordan Addison on the suspended list until.
Yeah, somebody could have had this monster kicker, but anyway, okay. So Maddie,
Cam Little got me 15 points last week. I'm okay.
Will the Titans just be happy if Cam Ward doesn't capitulate against the Rams defense? Really? It's fucking 10:30 in the morning and you got me reading capitulate.
Enjoy the word capitulate. I couldn't think of any other word to describe why.
Dude, I've said that word maybe twice in my whole life and now I got to read it. Like, okay, here we go. All right.
Sorry. But yeah, I think with this Rams defensive line and the way that the Rams defense plays, I was looking at Cam Ward and I was genuinely thinking last week, like Cam Ward looked good. And as you say, that wide receiver core wasn't helping him out at all. And I'm not sure what I make of that wide receiver core because you have like Tetero and McMillan who should be good. And you have Xavier Legette who's kind of in the middle of being good and stuff like that. And you have like, I can't remember the
Ridley.
The young, Ridley as well. But there's another young guy on there as well that I can't remember his name. But you have that wide receiver core and you don't know, but they weren't helping him at all. There was a lot of drops as well. But against this Rams defensive line, is Cam Ward just looking half decent and not just falling apart? Is that good enough for this game to show that he's ready for the NFL and ready to build around? Because I thought he was great last week.
Yeah, no, I didn't think like I said, when I was watching the game, it didn't look good to me. But when I went back, because I'm flipping, when I went back and rewatched some of it, I was like, oh, no, he's making the right reads. He's going through his progressions. He's throwing a lot of these on time, and the receivers are just letting him down. And sorry, viewers, if I keep popping off the screen, but my allergies are out of control, and none of you want to see me blow my nose.
Jay, who have you got? It's Rams -5.5.
I'm taking the Rams -5.5 just because I believe that, again, without a lot of these starters playing in the preseason, I think this is something we're going to see moving forward is the first week or two being kind of rough and people trying to get their footing because they don't have any of that preseason time to like just get back into game action. Yeah. But also, do you risk your top players to play in preseason? And then do you risk your young top stars getting work like JJ McCarthy if you don't have the starters in there? Because then will he get killed? You know, it's this weird balance for coaches. Right. So it's something I think we'll see. But yeah, I'm taking the Rams minus the 5.5.
Yeah, I think the defense wins them this game by 5.5 games. They're going to get, to be perfectly honest. So Rams 5.5 as well. Agreeing on the first three.
I bet we're going to agree on this next one too, because it is the Jets versus the Bills. The Bills are minus 6.5. The Bills played a bad game and won. Oh, my alarm's going off. Sorry. The Bills played a bad game.
I've got this one.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, the Bills played a bad game and won. The Jets played a good game and lost. Will the luck flip this week? Because the Bills looked bad for 3.5 quarters of that game, and the Jets looked pretty good for all of their game. What do you make of that, and who do you think is going to come out on top in this one? I think we can be relatively fast in this one.
This was one of my best bets, and I'm sticking with it. I'm still sticking with the Steelers or the Bills. Wow, I'm a game behind. The Bills minus 6.5. I think, again, Rusty, they'll come around. Anybody who watched Hard Knocks, you kind of got to like the feeling of how that locker room is this year. They seem to really like McDermott, and I think if he doesn't get them to like at least the AFC Championship game, he's probably fired, because at what point do you just keep beating your head against the wall and not, doing any better? So I think this is a time where I think again we'll see the Bills play better, and I kind of want to see how the Jets handle playing against the Bills, because they've been their like little abused stepbrother for a decade.
Yeah, and in this one for me, Jay, I'm actually taking the Jets in this game. I think the Jets are going to play a lot of close football games this year and lose. I agree. I think the Bills are coming out rusty. I think they looked really bad against the run game for huge amounts of the game last week. And I think they will get that fixed eventually. But they're currently playing a 4-7 guy at safety because they're waiting for Bishop, who runs a 4-3 or something, at safety to kind of like beef out and get his NFL legs and like understand the NFL. They're currently waiting for that whilst running a guy who goes 4-7. When you've got Bryce Hall and Braden Allen and Justin Fields in the backfield, that run game can carry them far enough to be within a touchdown. So I think they'll be within a touchdown, but I think the Bills will still win.
So you're taking the Jets plus the 6.5?
I'm taking the Jets plus 6.5, yeah. Taking the Jets.
Oh, look at you. Maddie
I didn't take the Jets.
Fields.
I didn't take the Jets last week, and I regretted it, so I'm doubling down this week.
Maddie loves him some Justin Fields, guys, so he can't help himself. All right, we got the Dolphins minus 1.5
relationship with.
We got the Dolphins minus 1.5 at home versus the Patriots. With the Dolphins private players only meeting during the week, how long does McDaniels have left in his job? Is halftime an answer?
Yeah, right. One, how are the Dolphins favored in this game? That's what I want to know. Which
because the Patriots looked that fucking bad last week. The Patriots look fucking awful, and
not as bad as the Dolphins.
In the last 10 years, the Dolphins are 8-2 at home against the Patriots in the last decade, and they got a winning record on them over like the last 5 years. So like, there's history to this and how bad the Patriots play at home. And I think, and this is just me, I've been thinking about this, and I'll just say it. I'm going with the Dolphins, and this is why. I think the Patriots are a better, like, I don't know about a better team, but I like their quarterback better. I like their coach better. But I think there's way too much talent on the Dolphins team to lose to this fucking Patriots team. So if it fucking happens, McDaniels has to go, right? He has to.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if they do lose this game, then McDaniels, look, they're not going to sack a guy in week 2. That would be insane. but
I'm firing him at
he's
halftime.
basically done. I mean, they could lose this game, and if they lose it handily as well, like if they get really beat, like if they get really scrubbed, then they're in a real tight bind there. What do you make of that players only meeting then, Jay? What do you think about that? What do you think the reasons for it were? Do you see a problem with the coach not being at it? Because I don't actually hate it as much as the media has made it. Yeah.
Now, nobody's saying anything, and when you have a players-only meeting, it's usually the sign of the end. It's the beginning of the end of everything. What it makes me wonder, was this more of, hey, guys, we need to rally around Tyreek right now with everything going on in his divorce, what he's accused of? Like, we got to rally around – is that one of these what this was, or was it our team's a shit show and we better get it together? I don't know. If it's more of a rallying cry around a teammate, then I think it helps. But if it's already bitching at each other for the way shit and airing grievances, then you're already in fucking trouble after week one. I have never heard of a players-only meeting this early in the season. So it does make me nervous, but I feel like Tyreek's either going to disappear or he's going to ball out, and he kind of seems like the fuck you watch me guy. So that's another reason why I was leaning towards it. I was going to pick the Patriots all week, and then last night I changed my mind.
I think with the players only meeting, it could also be a rally around the coach meeting, because they do seem to like Mike McDaniels. Like, he seems like a likable guy. Like, they do seem to like it. So maybe the rally around the coach is there, but I guess we'll see. Kirk Cousins, they might need to call Kirk over the Tua situation, because Tua hasn't looked the same. And look, you're not going to look the same if your brain's been scrambled like some eggs, for like a whole season beforehand.
What do you give up for Kirk Cousins if you're a team?
Like a fifth, sixth.
See, and I think they're going to hold you to the fire for a third. I do. I think they're going to hold you to the fire for a third.
I could see it. I could see it, and I'd walk away, because I could also go to the Giants and go ask for Jameis Winston, and see what I get for that.
Ouch.
As well.
Fucking, that just hurts Tua right there. That's a shot at Tua.
That wasn't a shot at Tua. It's just, if it's not working, may as well get out from underneath his contract, right?
You said Jameis Winston was an upgrade to Tua.
I didn't say an upgrade. An upgrade in matter of things like Cap as well. Like, okay, let's move on.
Who did you take? I didn't hear you.
Jets. Oh, Patriots. Sorry, Patriots. My bad.
Yeah, I did that. Don't worry, I did that a game ago, and I got the sheet in front of me. So
Patriots and Patriots is one of my best bets of the week as well.
All right. So I had the Dolphins, you had the Patriots. So that's 2 games at least. All right.
All right, 2 in a row.
Bengals -3.5 versus the Jaguars. After another Bengals slow start to the season, will it carry over into this week? Yeah, probably, and they'll still probably win, but because it's the Jags. But I don't know what you think. I think it'll probably carry over.
Yeah, I think I've been toying with fantasy football this week as to whether to sit Joe Burrow until like maybe week 3, week 4, and ride with JJ McCarthy going into this week. And I'm thinking I'm gonna stay with Joe Burrow, because it'd be fucking shit if I lose because Joe Burrow is the Q5 on the bench. Also,
overrated. Oh no, okay.
It's bad crack that fantasy owners are already thinking about benching him, right? In week 2. But yeah, I think with Joe Burrow and with the slow start of the Bengals, I have no idea where it's come from. But I do wonder if actually just getting the win last week after the slow start will stop it from carrying over into this week, because at least you don't take the bad feeling of the slow start over into the next week. Jay, with the Jaguars' offensive side of the ball, with Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Thomas Jr., Travis Etienne, decent as well. Do you think that the Jags' offensive side of the ball is enough to maybe carry them to a sneaky AFC playoff run?
Yeah, I think they at the end of the year they'll be in the mix. I think there's a lot of talent on the team. I just don't. I'm having this weird thing with today. everything like I feel like I should pick the fucking. My head's telling me pick the Bengals, and everything in me is like pick the Jags. So I'm really torn on this one, and I still haven't even decided where I'm going to go on this game because of my questions with the Jags. Like, you have a lot of talent, but are you going to put it together? Is Liam the fucking right coach for you? I don't know. Well, I don't know. What do you think, Maddie?
Yeah, for me, I think I am going to go with the Bengals. I think they will go off that. Slow start. I think the Jags, though, do possess enough firepower to cause a lot of trouble for the Bengals defense. Like the Bengals defensive side of the ball, and the way it went down with Trey Hendrickson, is he still going to be giving it his all season? I don't know, and they kind of need him to. Right, but Shamar Stewart looked decent for them last week, so we'll see where they get to with that. But give me the Bengals at 5.5 on this one.
Well, let's do it 3 in a row. Give me the Jags minus or plus 3.5.
like it.
Somehow you talking about the Bengals just talked me into the Jags, so I don't know. But
like it.
We got the Saints versus the 49ers. The 49ers are minus 3.5 or minus 3. Sorry. Are the 49ers better or worse with Mac Jones? I said it last week. I think there's a potential, or I said it Thursday. There's a potential they could be better. I'm excited to watch this game. Oddly, I never thought I would want to see the 49ers Saints, but I want to see Mac Jones play in this offense. And I do have a couple underdog bets that have Christian McCaffrey with some receptions, so I watch for that too. But
and even if Mac Jones and Brock Purdy are a wash, that still makes the 49ers better because of the cap situation, right? And the fact that the 49ers cap must be hurting somewhere at some point. Like, you can only do cap gymnastics so much, and it's hurting them in their depth. They're so top heavy. They're so injury prone. Their depth isn't there at all of those positions. So even if Mac Jones and Brock Purdy are a wash, then that allows them to move on from Brock Purdy as well and get out from underneath that cap deal too. So I like Mac Jones. I like him in this offense. I think it makes a lot of sense. Kittle's out for a long period of time, which again, obviously, 49ers injury problems coming back to haunt them. But give me the 49ers in this one, minus the 3. And even saying that, Jay, I do think that Kellen Moore is the right man for the job by all the noise coming out of New Orleans.
Well, yeah, and New Orleans is a perfect example of what happens if you keep rolling a salary cap down the road, because they've been in salary cap hell since before Drew Brees retired. And as soon as they got semblance of getting it back, they signed Derek Carr. This is the first year they're kind of out of cap hell, but they had to get rid of all their good players.
Get out of cap hell, yeah.
Yeah, so also give me the 49ers minus the 3. This was one of my best bets, so I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, definitely. But I do think Kellen Moore is the right man for this rebuild. Like, all the noise coming out of New Orleans sounds like they really like him, and I think that Vegas overreacted to like the George Kittle injury and Brock Purdy injury as well, which is why I went down to the minus 3. But even with all that, Kellen Moore is the right guy for the job.
Yeah, I like Kellen Moore in this situation. So I thought he made Spencer Rattler look like a serviceable quarterback.
He made Spencer Rattler look good. Yeah, he made Spencer Rattler look good last week.
All right, so now we got the Ravens versus the Browns. This spread is fucking huge. Minus 12.5. The thing is the Browns decided to give fucking Derrick Henry some fucking bulletin board material this week, which I thought was stupid as shit. So when you're like, you just tackle the fucker, right? Do you agree? And then do you agree with Sanders' decision to turn down the Ravens in the first round?
5th round.
Oh, did I say? What did I say?
First.
Did I say
I might have first.
I meant 5th.
Yeah.
He should have been a first-round pick, by the way. But yes, I meant 5th.
Yeah. So the news coming out early on today, alongside Jerry Jones fucking talking about Micah Parsons potentially going to the Jets, but the Jets didn't have what it took to get him. That's by the by. But Shedeur Sanders apparently rejected the Baltimore Ravens during the 5th round and went to the Browns instead. And look, much better chance of starting by going to Cleveland. That makes a lot of sense. But do you actually have a much better chance of continuing a long career in the NFL going to Cleveland?
Yes.
Or would you have a much better chance of having a long career in the NFL if you went to the Ravens first and then worked behind Lamar and then went somewhere else? But then everybody sees you as a backup for the rest of your career.
And the one thing that's not being brought into this equation is, who do you want as a young quarterback as your head coach? John Harbaugh or Kevin Stefanski? And I personally would rather have Kevin Stefanski. He has done great things with quarterback. Mm-hmm. Okay, Kirk Cousins' best years before Kevin O'Connell were with Kevin Stefanski. Baker Mayfield with Kevin Stefanski, until he got injured, they were talking about him playing at an MVP level. So, Kevin Stefanski has made Joe Flacco look good. He's had to do things with Jameis Winston. The only reason the Browns are in the situation the Browns are in is because Jimmy Haslam couldn't keep his fucking nose out of it and decided to give the worst contract and trade for Deshaun Watson. That's why we're in this situation.
NFL history. Worst trade in NFL history has to be. Yeah.
If I'm Shedeur, I'd rather go to a place I have a chance of starting within a year.
Yeah.
And a better offensive-minded head coach. That's not a shot at John Harbaugh. He's been doing great things in Baltimore. But, if I'm a young quarterback, I want an offensive-minded coach who's going to understand what it's like to be a young quarterback, too.
Yeah, I saw some in the group chat. There was some news about Judkins. What was that? I missed that.
I didn't see anything this morning because I got up literally right before we started the show.
I haven't seen anything with Judkins either. I imagine it means he's starting, but
Well, okay. You do have – how long do you give Flacco the job? I think you got to give it to him for at least another week.
Yeah, but when you've got two rookie quarterbacks behind and you're not really doing
that's
this
the problem.
Season, surely it's because – if you've got one, right? If you've got one rookie quarterback behind, it's okay, fine. We'll sit until week 6, 7, 8, 9, give him loads of time. But you want to evaluate both of your questionable rookie quarterbacks this year. Surely you want to evaluate them both. So I think Flacco gets. I agree with you. I think if he doesn't, because he looked shit last week again, 2 interceptions. As well, and he will cost you games on interceptions, which is what you really don't want your old quarterback to be doing as well, giving away games through interceptions. Stupid. So
but
play him next week, this week, next week, and then get Dylan Gabriel in week 4.
That's the problem. The only reason, from everything I read and every beat writer in Cleveland that watched the preseason, that's my only bitch about Cleveland right now is. Everybody says Shedeur out-fucking performed Dylan Gabriel in camp.
He was better.
Everything.
He was better.
And because you drafted him in the 3rd round, you got him as higher on your depth chart. Get the fuck out of here. This is the kind of shit that drives me nuts. And we can argue that Kwesi has made some horrible draft picks in his first draft, but at least they moved the fuck on right away. If the guy's not the guy, just fucking move on. And you don't even have to move on from Dylan Gabriel. You can just go, Shedeur's better, so he is going to be our number 2 quarterback. But they haven't done that. And if there was reports that it was close, I would have been okay with that. And also, you put a guy who's literally 5'10" as your number 2 quarterback, which you know how elite you got to be in this league to be little like that. You literally have to be elite to survive in this league at that size.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, right? And Dylan Gabriel isn't Kyler Murray.
Russell Wilson back with the Legion of Boom, right? And I still think he's 6 foot.
Yeah, and at no point did he show, no point in his college career or his NFL career, his preseason, did he show that he could do that. So I'm as surprised as you on that one. So Jay, is this a get right game for the Ravens? 12.5 points is huge.
I'm taking the Browns and the plus 12.5, but I still think the Ravens win this. But if they don't, now you're in the Bengals situation of last year, and you better turn it around quick because it's very rare that a team goes 0-2 and makes the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they were 0-2. Yeah, I'd be so surprised if they're at 0-2 that I'm going to take the Ravens at minus 12.5, which is a very unlike me pick, but I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for them at minus 12.5. They looked so good for 3.5 quarters last week against a better defense than the Browns, and then they choked.
Maybe it doesn't matter to you, but I feel like every time Flacco gets to give a fuck you to the Ravens for not keeping him, he does.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I wonder if his fuck you abilities are still there. We'll see.
You can't be that mad, though. They did draft Lamar, and that's why you're not there. But okay, whatever. Yeah,
yeah, right. It's like it's like him. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead.
That was bad. That was a bad analogy. Doesn't matter. You carry on.
All right. Well, the Lions -6 versus the Bears. Which half of Caleb Williams will we see this week? Can everybody stop saying half? Caleb Williams went 10 for 10 and then went 11 for 25. Like, there was no first half. There was one drive. It was the first scripted 15 plays that he had from Ben Johnson. Soon as the scripted plays were over, Caleb's success was over. So I think a better question is, and I get your question, I'm just giving you shit, but I think a better question is, can Caleb play after the scripted plays that they've been practicing all week?
Yeah, what's interesting about that with Caleb is he also looked better. He looked better off the script in the unscripted time, right? Like the place where he looked good, but the team looked worse. Like the team looked worse off the script, but he looked better when everything went clearly to shit. Like, when everything went to shit and he made a big play, that's fine. But you got to think that, is everything going to shit because of him? Because he's gone off script. Like, he's taken them off script, which has made them look worse as a team. And then gone forward. Caleb really, this just isn't the right system for Caleb Williams. And I think it more and more and more. Like, it just isn't the right system for him. And look, I know that's shit. Like, and it's shit to give him a pass saying that Ben Johnson's system that made Jared Goff nearly an MVP candidate is the wrong system for him. But it's just not the right style of play. I don't think for Caleb Williams, he needs a different play caller, and the Bears might need a different QB.
Well, my question for you is it that the system's not right, or does Caleb not play the right type of football for the NFL?
Yeah, or is it? Yeah, that's so right. Does he play kind of a college ball rather than an NFL ball?
He wasn't very good at SC his last year. That was my big argument. You remember, me and you talked about it a ton. Like, they're giving him a lot of love, and I get he's got all this talent, but he wasn't that good at SC. He was, the last time he was like spectacular looking on a field was Oklahoma, right? And so it's like, is Caleb just not understanding how you play the NFL game? Because you have all these tools, but you obviously – a year and one game into it, still don't get it.
He needs to learn to just take the easy route out. Like, you're not going to unathlete players in the NFL in the same way that you could at college, right? Like, that's just not going to happen at all. Jay, after watching the Green Bay Packers play on Thursday, does that make you feel a bit better about the Lions start with how good the Packers looked? Was the Lions start maybe just a bit rusty and maybe just a bit of a slow start, and will they get back to it this week?
I tried, but I'm really starting to think that Lions defense is going to be really, really bad, and that offense is going to have to be even better than they were last year to get to where they want to go. And I don't know if that's possible. So, because everybody blamed last year's defense on the injuries, but yeah, you had some injuries, but you weren't changing life and lighting the world on fire with the guys you had. And now you have less talent on that team, and your best defensive player still just coming off of an injury, and Aaron Glenn is gone. How big of a problem? Huh?
Yeah. People expecting Aiden Hutchinson to come back immediately and start getting the same sack totals. That's mad. It was a huge injury that he came off of in his first rookie season. As I know it's his only rookie season, but his first season in the NFL, making him a rookie. Like, that's a huge thing to come back from. So let's see if they can do it. The Bears O-line didn't look amazing against the Vikings in the second half last week as well. So maybe it is the right time for the Detroit Lions defense to step up.
Yeah. So I am taking the Lions minus the 6, but that is an indictment on the Bears, not what I feel about the Lions. That's how sad that is.
I hate the spread. I hate the spread at -6, but I'm taking the -6 as well. For the Lions, I feel like David Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs are not going to be held to -2.5 again this week.
Well, yeah, because you don't have Hargrave and Allen in the middle, which people can say what they want. They're like, oh, they're old. That showed why, as long as they stay healthy, was brilliant moves last year. And yes, the Bears have a week. The Bears line is going to be a really good line this year, but they don't have all three levels. And as soon as something gets weak behind you, it becomes a problem. We'll actually talk about that coming up in another game where I'm a little nervous. But yeah, I'm also taking the Lions -6.5. So we're moving on to the Colts versus the Broncos. Broncos -2.5. Do the Colts remind you of last season's New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, you remember how the New Orleans Saints last season came out and just like destroyed the Cowboys by like, what was it, like 40-21 or something ridiculous, and then they scored 35 the next week, and they just looked insane, and then they all just fell apart, which we all knew it would. Like going forward as well. I wonder if the Colts have that same thing. Derek Carr and Daniel Jones, similar vibe at quarterback. Like, yes, probably best 32 quarterbacks, but can only go so far, etc. And the line is like, on paper, it looks a bit shaky, but they can play good ball and good running back in Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara as well. Like, what do you make of the Colts after their first game?
I mean, I think they're better than last year because this is so wild to say. Daniel Jones is a more competent quarterback than fucking Anthony Richardson. But I think they're going to get fucking dog walked today. I think they're going to get the shit slapped out of them. Even if the score is only like a 10-point game, I think you're going to go, that wasn't even as close as people think. I think that Denver's defense is going to expose the Colts' weaknesses. And then Bo Nix has been solid, so we'll see where he goes from there. I think Bo Nix has a really great floor.
Last week.
Huh?
Yeah, like Bo Nix was shit last week.
Like, yeah, again, we're coming off though the real preseason type shit, and like
yeah.
I think his floor is high.
Second year.
Where is his ceiling, right? So that's my thing is with Bo Nix, I'm not that worried yet, and I think they'll carry him. The defense will carry them to a victory. I think you're going to see the Colts get the shit slapped out of them. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I genuinely think the Broncos might have the best defense in the AFC. Like they have crazy performances in them at every single level of that defense, and I think that'll be enough to see off the Colts as well. Give me the Broncos at 2.5 here as well.
I knew where you were going. That wasn't even a question. Like I knew you were taking the Broncos. So we got the Cardinals at -6.5 versus the Panthers. Is it a little early in the season for this line of the Cardinals?
Yeah, with this, it's we expect the Cardinals to be much better this year, and we expect the Cardinals to be much more consistent this year. And -6.5 is a line for a more consistent team against a bad team. Right, and also I've just realized that I was talking about the Titans wide receiver core earlier, but I was actually talking about the Panthers wide receiver core, and I got myself confused. So if you were thinking, why was I talking about Terrell McMillan and Xavier Legette when we were talking about the Titans, I was actually meaning to talk about that with the Panthers and just got myself in a mix. But with the Cardinals at 6.5, that's a line for a very consistent team, and we have no idea if the Cardinals are actually a consistent team.
I don't mind the line at -6.5 just because I think when you're looking at it from the betting standpoint, I'm betting a lot of the money is going there because people look at the Panthers as a team that a lot of people still think that that Bryce Young was the wrong pick, right? And like that he can't play. And I think people didn't give credit to the strides he made forward last year because of their record. So I think people are underestimating Bryce Young still too. So I think a lot of the money is going to the Cardinals. But with that said, I'm still taking the Cardinals minus the 6.5.
Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals at 6.5 here as well. I would like to see this like later in the season with the Cardinals, but I think Kyler Murray is going to have a big year. Trey McBride, and another guy I'm playing against in fantasy. I think he's going to probably have a big game this week as well. And the Panthers wide receiving core, as I was saying when I thought they were the Titans wide receiving core, but the Panthers wide receiving core, we don't really know. Like, they're strange, but it's like, whoa, this receiving core could be amazing. It's filled with young talent, but also this receiving core could be so shit. We don't know about their young talent, right? Like, we don't know where they are. So give me the Cardinals at 6.5 in this one.
All right, Maddie. We are moving on to the Chiefs versus the Eagles. The Eagles are minus 1.5 point favorites. And have the Chiefs improved in areas required from the Super Bowl? I don't know, but I do know this. I think that the Eagles got their number and know how to play them. So I think the Chiefs should be nervous about how they're about to start this season.
Yeah, I feel like the Eagles are like built in the same way that the Ravens are, and the Ravens were built to beat the Chiefs. Like they were built to beat the Chiefs. It's just the Eagles managed to not choke, and they managed to actually go ahead and get that win. With the Chiefs, it's the reason that they struggled so much in the Super Bowl was their offensive line. And have they made the necessary changes at the offensive line position to get better and to be able to come out and beat the Eagles now? Jalen Carter is playing this week. And he's going to play
like a monster possessed.
And they classed his ejection last week as a suspension, which I think is fair. I think at the end of the day, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair way of looking at it. Because he was ejected before even playing in the down, that can be his one game suspension. That's okay. We move on. It was fucking gross. Don't do it again. Davis to take more rest stuff and then is an assignment all by himself as well, and that becomes so difficult. And I don't think the Chiefs have got better on the offensive line, sufficiently better. They got better at left tackle, but everywhere else they've remained the same. I do think Mahomes will play less rusty this week, though.
Yeah, well, your question, did Mahomes shake off the rust in the second half? Sure, probably. I just think that the Chiefs are
loads better in the second half.
I think the Eagles are just set up perfectly to beat this team. I think that defense and the way they play ball, they run the ball, they eat the clock, time of possession, play good defense. They make you one-dimensional because they take away your running game, which the Chiefs' running game didn't look great last week again, but it's at week 1. I literally think the Chiefs end up losing this game, so they have a rough start to the season. And give me the Eagles minus 1.5. And maybe I'm wrong, but right now I got the Eagles as the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, give me the Eagles at minus 1.5 as well. In this one.
Oh, that killed you.
They looked that really hurt. Maybe the Cowboys are just better than everybody gave them credit for coming into the season. Like, because everybody's like, oh, the Eagles look terrible after the game against the Cowboys. Okay, maybe Dak Prescott is the Dak Prescott of 3 years ago rather than the Dak Prescott of last year. Like, maybe actually having some time to go get his leg completely reconstructed is what he needed to, like, be mobile again.
All right.
So maybe
Oh, Maddie's getting choppy.
Eagles aren't as bad, and with Jalen Carr in there, that defense is just terrifying. So yeah, Eagles 1.5 as much as it.
Oh, we got him back. We heard him with the Eagles with the 1.5 as much as it pains me. All right. Well, Maddie, let's move on to the Vikings. The Vikings at home versus the Falcons.
Okay, let's go.
Minus 3.5. The Vikings are favored by minus 3.5 at home. Where do you want to see the Vikings improve from last week? And then I'll throw this out there. Will Penix find the Flores defense too much? Good luck, young quarterbacks. Good luck, veteran quarterbacks dealing with Brian Flores defense, but good luck, young quarterbacks. I think he'll throw some confusion in there. I think he'll go back to sending fucking pressure. But to be honest, you could get away with going with 4 because the problem last week was Caleb Williams is so motherfucking athletic that every time you get pressure, he breaks out the pocket and you're in trouble, where that is not Penix's game. He's athletic, but he's not that type of athlete. I want to see the offense start fast. That's what I want to see. I want to see the offense start fast. I don't want to have to wait till the third quarter, the fourth quarter to get any offense going. So make sure they don't have such a leash on JJ. I'm not saying you got to let him go throw 50 times a game, but just don't have such a leash on JJ. Let's see where they go from there. There is a lot of injuries on the Vikings defense, so I was kind of shocked when I saw the point spread, just because you have Okudah out, starting corner. You have Andrew Van Ginkel out, which it hurts, but now you still got Jonathan Grenard and Dallas Turner, so we'll get to see more of Dallas Turner. Maybe this will be a good thing for the defense and Dallas Turner in the long run, but we'll see how that goes. And I think with Brian Cashman out, it was huge last year. I think they're very lucky to have Eric Wilson back there this year again, and he can run. He ran the defense with the green dot, and he played great. Is he Cashman? No, but he was really good. So little nervous with the injuries. You know me, I'm taking the Vikings minus 3.5, but I'm never fucking comfortable ever picking the Vikings on anything.
McCarthy, I think it's not about the amount of times he throws the ball. I think you can keep the amount of times he throws the ball to about the same, because Mason looked amazing. And when you have Aaron Jones back there as well, Aaron Jones looks good as well. So I think you can keep JJ throwing the same. It's just when he is throwing, allow him to throw deep. You have one of the best wide receivers in the league.
The best.
Like JJ and Justin Jefferson might become the best in the league. Justin Jefferson might become one of the best of all time, you know? Like going out there. And he could be the best Viking all time in the same organization that Randy Moss played for. Like it wouldn't surprise you, right? So you have JJ McCarthy thrown to JJ. And you can throw that. You can let him throw the ball. Like let him get rid of the ball. Let him throw that ball down the line, and he looks good for this ball. So, for me, I think that the Vikings are much better than the Falcons at pretty much every level. So give me the Vikings at 3.5.
Quick stat note. Justin Jefferson needs 1 reception to become the youngest player in NFL history to reach 500 receptions. All right. So Maddie's getting a little choppy, so we'll try to get this out of the way before we lose him. The Texans minus 2.5 versus the Buccaneers. Oh, what?
That's crazy. JJ.
Oh, yeah.
Make it on a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I like it. Texans minus 2.5 versus the Buccaneers. How are the